Children, we will be taking up the long answer type questions today. Let me begin with the first question. Why does the writer of the story want to forget the address? Children, this is the textbook question. Please turn your books to page number 15. It is question number 3. Very important question, an important question from examination point of view also. Why did the narrator of the story want to forget the address? I have already discussed with you that, children, she had to forget the address. She had to move on. There was no use clinging on to the past. Now, what was the reason behind it? Let's read and find out. The writer of the story wanted to forget the address. Initially, she was not interested in all the stored things, but slowly she started becoming curious about her mother's belongings. Now, this is already given to us in the lesson. Initially, she was not very interested, and there was a reason also behind it. In her rented apartment, she did not have much space. Okay, so she was not very much interested in possessing those items. But later, she became curious about it. And she wanted to see, touch, and remember them. She wanted to connect with them. She wanted to unite with them. She wanted to establish that relationship with those items. However, her experience at the Dorlings' house made her give on them on the idea of keeping connection with the past. But once she visited the Dorlings, her bitter experience made her realize that it's better not to keep any connection with the past. With the passage of time, torn out of content, her mother's possessions had lost their value. Now, with time, children, those items had also lost their value. They were kept in a very unaesthetic manner, in a very distasteful manner, and they were made very ordinary because they were used as everyday items. So, this is what is being written over here. They were torn out of context. They were torn out of context. Their actual meaning, they were unique. Nothing of the like remained in them. They were not unique. They were no more unique. They were no more special. So they were torn out of context. Her mother's possessions had lost their value and they belonged to a connection that no longer existed. Instead of bringing comfort, they brought pain. Yes, very important. It was reminding her, it was paining her. Okay, she was only reminded about the ill treatment that the Jews faced in the hands of the Germans. Here also, those items, they were being ill treated. They were not taken care of at the non-Jewish neighbor's house, at Mrs. Dorling's house, and hence they brought pain. The narrator also felt oppressed by the unaesthetic way in which they were kept in Mrs. Dorling's house. She also felt repelled by the way her daughter incessantly talked about them. Incessantly means, every time the way the daughter was speaking and talking about it, it showed as if she owned it, as if it rightfully belonged to the daughter. But it was not so. It belonged to Mrs. S and now it was Marga's. But she couldn't say anything. She felt repelled. She could no longer connect with those items. At a more practical level, she did not have enough place to store them. At a very practical level, she was staying at a rented apartment, a small rented room with a narrow drawer into which only a handful of cutlery could fit in, and hence she did not have the space. Of all the things that were there to forget, it was the easiest to forget because of the above stated reasons. Okay. Next question, again important children. Have you come back? I thought that no one had come back. Does this statement give some clue about the story? Now this is question number 1 children. Again textbook question number 1, page 15. Let me read out the answer. When the narrator knocked at Mrs. Dorling's door, Mrs. Dorling showed absolutely no sign of recognition of the narrator or of any connection with someone named Mrs. S. You know, she was like a total stranger. When Marga knocked at her door, Mrs. Dorling did not recognize her, as if she was a total stranger. She feigned surprise. Feigned means over here, children, she pretended that she was surprised on seeing the narrator. However, she could not keep up. She could not keep up the pretense. Pretense means she was just portraying. Okay, she could not keep up that portrayal because she realized that the narrator had recognized her mother's green knitted cardigan. Now the Mrs. Dorling, she was wearing that green knitted cardigan when she had opened the door. So she could not keep her false face for a very long time. Why? Because she realized that Marga had noticed the green cardigan that she was wearing. Her question was the first vital clue that the Jews who had once left the country were unwelcome. Okay, that means nobody wanted the Jews to come back. So it was the vital sign which showed that the Jews who had once left the country were unwelcome. People who had volunteered to keep their belongings had no intentions of returning them. So, you know, in the beginning it is said that Marga was not very much satisfied with the explanation that her mother was giving her. That here Mrs. Dorling is actually going to help her. She could see through the selfish intention of Mrs. Dorling. And it has been rightfully proved here. What does it say? People who had volunteered to keep their belongings had no intention of returning them. Political animosity had creeped into personal lives as well. You know, the differences at the political level had crept. The differences at the political level had crept into the personal lives also. The question also gives us a clue about Mrs. Dorling's, the narrator, Mrs. Dorling's character, who did not expect the return of the narrator or her mother. So Mrs. Dorling was also taking those items along because she was not expecting the family to return. She was too greedy and opportunistic to part with the belongings of the narrator's mother. She was too greedy, did not want to give those items back. Okay, next question, children. The story is divided into pre-war and post-war times. What hardships the girl underwent during these times? Now, this is again important question. Please go through the question once. I am just giving you 1 minute. Please go through the question once. Read it. Yes, we know that the story is divided into pre-war and post-war times. Pre-war, when Mrs. S was there and Mrs. Dorling was carrying away all the items, and post-war, when the daughter returns, Marga returns to claim those objects. Okay, these are all value points, children. You have to frame your answers in a detailed manner. Pre-war times, Germany invaded Holland in 1940. Holland had to surrender. And what about the Dutch Jews? They suffered persecution as well as scarcity of food and other necessities. They were forced into concentration camps, children. And you know, Jews were beaten to death. Their buildings were destroyed. Their homes were ransacked. 30,000 Jews, they were sent to the concentration camps. Okay. So these were the atrocities that the Jews faced. Now, fear of being captured and sent to the concentration camps especially because they were labeled as Jews. So this was the fear amongst the Jews, that they will be sent to the concentration camps. Fear of being looked down upon and given derogatory treatment, and fear of losing the family. Trauma of being uprooted from their own homeland and leading an insecure life. Similarly, same was the condition with Marga. She had to flee, she had to go into hiding. But the rest of the family, of Marga's family, was not so fortunate. They were deprived of their rights. Their rights had been taken away from them. Now, post-war times, okay, and during this time only, children, the non-Jewish people, they took heavy advantage of these Jews. Example you can give, Mrs. Dorling took advantage of Mrs. S, Marga's mother. Now, post-war times, psychological trauma, coming to terms with a nightmarish past. Psychological trauma, it was a fear that was rooted inside their heart, being connected to a past that was very, very painful. So this gave a psychological trauma. It was a torture to come in terms with that nightmarish and horrific past. Betrayal of truth by people who had promised help before war. Okay, betrayal. They were backstabbed. They were cheated by those people who had promised to help them before the war. Again, loneliness. She was all alone. Her family was killed and Marga was all alone. So loneliness haunted her. Challenge of picking up pieces of one's life and starting again. And there was a big challenge at hand, that she had to pick up from the pieces and start all over again. She had to move on, pick up with the leftover pieces. Nothing to support her, nothing to give her the strength. In fact, everything which could only push her into loneliness, darkness. Scarcity. Lived in a small rented room, isn't it? Her own house with all those antique items had been taken away, snatched, ruined, destroyed, and now she had to live in a small rented room. Fear and insecurity because of existence in a vulnerable, valueless society. Okay, she was now afraid, fear was there, insecurity was there in her heart because she was living in a valueless society. Nobody who could value their feelings, who could value their, the thoughts and the feelings which was so much associated with those items. Here, it was a valueless society. The non-Jewish neighbor, Mrs. Dorling, did not value those things, the feelings associated. Okay. Now, next question, children. This is again a textbook question only. The address is a story of human predicament that follows war. Comment means what happens to the humans after a war, their condition after a war. I agree with the statement that the address is a story of human condition or predicament, the result, okay, human, what result they face after a war. The narrator of the story faces crisis as she is rendered homeless. Crisis means there is shortage of everything, and associated with it are feelings of fear and insecurity. So in a nutshell, we can say she is faced with crisis as she is rendered homeless and friendless after the war. There is no one whom she can call her own. The story is autobiographical and it narrates events before and after the Second World War. The narrator lost her entire family during the war and was subjected to inferior treatment because of her Jewish lineage. Now, because she was a Jew, she had to face the atrocities in the hands of the Germans. In addition, her trust was completely betrayed by Mrs. Dorling, who refused to recognize her and blatantly means boldly, loudly, she was using her mother's, all the items that belonged to the mother. She was using them. The narrator was shown no empathy even by the only old contact she knew. Now, Mrs. Dorling was the only old contact, but she was not compassionate towards her. She was shown no empathy, no signs of recognition, which was the most cruel part, on the most cruel side of Mrs. Dorling. The story is also a sad comment on how human life cannot sustain while things can, because they are things. Human life cannot sustain. Had there been any humans staying with Mrs. Dorling, they would have perished. They could not have, that life of dignity if it was not given, if it is denied to any human being. How can one sustain? How can one live? But those items sustained, they were able to carry forward. Why? Because they were non-living things, they were items. It talks of the insensitivity, selfishness and opportunistic nature of people who are at an advantageous position. Now, the non-Jewish lady, Mrs. Dorling, was at an advantageous position. She was opportunistic, she was greedy, and she was selfish. The story isn't completely negative. It also talks about the courage and resolve that an experience of war gives. It is not completely negative. It teaches us a life's lesson, an experience that a war can give. On a deeper level, the story is a commentary on memories and remembering, that is making a choice as to what is worth remembering and what should be forgotten. It also teaches us that we should remember what is worth remembering and should forget everything that is bitter and painful. We should move on and not cling to a painful past. Although it gives her a lot of pain, the narrator resolves to forget the address. Very important question, children, and the answer is complete in all respect. Next question now, again very important. Justify the title, and this is an extra question, children. I am done with the 4 questions of the textbook. Now these are some additional questions. Justify the title, the address. Now 46 Marconi Street, it's Mrs. Dorling's address in the story, who is the main reason around which the whole story revolves. That address is the main reason around which the whole story revolves. The address of their non-Jewish neighbor had been given to the Jewish narrator by her mother in peacetime, with the hope that her daughter may be able to reclaim her belongings from Mrs. Dorling. That the daughter would be able to go to Mrs. Dorling and claim those articles back. Yes. However, the address that appears to be a symbol of hope in the beginning. Yes, the address was a symbol of hope. She again and again she was trying to take out time and visit the address. She could not rest in peace. She could not feel relaxed till the time she had been to that address. Something at the back of her mind was pushing her to go and visit that address. So it was a symbol of hope in the beginning. And it turns to be a nightmarish experience for the narrator. But once she was there, it gave her a bitter experience. It tortured her. A horrific experience she had there. The dismissive attitude of Mrs. Dorling and the unaesthetic manner and the crude manner in which she was using their belongings made the narrator feel alienated and disconnected. She could not connect to those items. because they were treated in a very crude, in a very rough and unaesthetic. Children, it should be unaesthetic manner. The address no longer held any attraction as placed in a different surrounding. The things had lost their original value. So now the address 46 Marconi Street had no attraction left. They were placed, the things were placed in a very different surrounding and had lost their original value. The address was also no longer worth remembering because it now represented how the Jews were treated post-war. So this is how the Jews were treated, in a very crude and in a very rough manner. They weren't welcome any longer and felt as if they never should have existed. So it was a bitter reminder to the Jewish narrator that the Jews should never have returned. This place does not belong to them. And also that they should never have existed. And hence, the significance, the title, the address has been aptly given. Children, I will advise you to copy these answers in your notebook. I have already given you a few extra questions. Please, if you have not completed it, complete that assignment question that I have given you yesterday and copy these answers in your notebook. I am sharing the whole file with you. I will suggest you to copy these answers in your notebook, especially this answer. The address is a story of human predicament that follows war. So please note down the questions that you are supposed to do. Children, you will be doing the question number 3. Why did the narrator of the story want to forget the address? Question number 3 you will be doing, and justify the title, the address. So these 2 questions you will be writing down in your notebook. Okay, one more extra question I am giving. Please write it down. How did the narrator come to know that the cutlery was silver? This is a 2-marker question that I am giving. How did the narrator in the story, the address, come to know that the cutlery was silver? Please do these questions and send it to me timely. Tomorrow is Sunday, so you can send it to me. You can complete the work at ease and then submit it. Thank you, class.